We're also getting some news right now that we want to tell you about as breaking news. We are monitoring what is being described as a shooting situation at a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado. Now, this is initial reporting that states that an individual opened fire first in the parking lot, and police arrived on the scene and firing commenced. Now, moments ago, we also, according to our cameras, were able to detect someone being put into an ambulance. No official word on injuries or deaths. I'm joined now by Jim Kavanaugh, a retired ATF agent and MSNBC analyst. Jim, as I mentioned, and as viewers know from these type of situations, sadly, we do cover them as the ongoing public health crisis of guns in America. This is a breaking story. There's much we don't know yet. What do you see from the little that is available?
Well, first of all, Boulder police did a pretty good job here because the reports were that the suspect fired on the patrol officers when they arrived at the supermarket. I don't think NBC's confirmed, but there's news reports about an AR-15 rifle and body armor. We'll see if that holds true. A lot of times these guys are suicidal, so what the law enforcement's going to have to do, Ari, is go back to his home, his car, sweep for bombs, and see if there's any other victims. You know, when somebody's out in the public shooting like that, sometimes domestic violence starts the thing, and there's, you know, people shot or murdered at home. So they gotta sweep for explosives in the car, sweep for explosives at his residence, and then check for any other victims. And they're going to be doing that, you know, pretty rapidly.
Yeah, and what we're seeing in some of the reports, and again, I'm looking at some of our materials, but we're not repeating anything until we have full confirmations. But when authorities look at this, how do they figure out, based on the public information as well as what they have on the scene, what do they know about, and how do they secure the area? What do they know about whether it's one shooter, or how do they determine or confirm security on the site?
The on-scene commander gets all the patrol officers, calls in SWAT, and SWAT does a sweep of the whole supermarket, the adjacent parking lots and buildings. They got to find if there's any other shooters, they got to find if there's any explosive devices, and they got to find his vehicle or accomplices. So they're sweeping, they're doing all that. They're probably still doing it because SWAT will take an ever wider circle. They've got to locate, they got to isolate, they got to evacuate, and they got to eliminate the threat. And if he's the only guy, that's already been done, but they don't know that yet. So good police practices, good SWAT commanders, on-scene commanders, they're going to be sweeping an ever-widening perimeter until they're sure. And also detectives and bomb squad officers are going to be going to his residence, which may be, who knows where, Ari. I mean, it could be in the city, in another county, or even another state. And so there's going to be law enforcement spinning up. State police, the federales, I mean, ATF, FBI are going to be all spun up, helping out, trying to make sure there's no accomplices, nobody else doing anything. You know, the guy copycatting the hate crime, the vicious hate crime in Atlanta. And it is a hate crime, by the way, and we should be all saying it publicly, whether or not the prosecutors, you know, charge it. There's more than enough probable cause to charge it, and they may not charge it because they don't think they have proof beyond a reasonable doubt to win a case like that. But it is probably an probable cause, a hate crime targeting those Asian spas. But is this guy just a copycat shooter for just vulgar violence? Or is he targeting certain people? I mean, who's he wanting to kill? There's a lot to be known that we got to find out this evening about this.
And Jim, I have to ask you, do you have video return, or are you seeing what we're seeing in our overhead video or not?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
So just wanted to confirm that before I have you analyze it. I mean, what do you see in the significance of the way that the scene looks there? Because we saw the overhead camera footage of what looks like an individual being loaded into an ambulance. We have, again, we're not, NBC News is not confirming yet who that individual is, but you have that individual going in, and you had what looked like police. Again, I'm curious what your law enforcement expertise says, but the police at that juncture looked relatively calm. For example, this is the file footage we're replaying. They're walking an individual out. There's some police have guns drawn, but it does not look, at least to the layperson's eyes, like they're in an active mode anymore outside. It looked almost calm, if you could say that. But your thoughts on what we're seeing on playback?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think this area they believe is secure. This may be the shooter. We don't know. It looks like he's handcuffed. This is someone certainly they've arrested, and it may be the shooter. He has just shorts, pants on, looks like no shirt. we don't know if that's the shooter. That could be somebody they come across. They don't know. He doesn't. They don't know what he did or what he was. There was a man, a husband of one of the victims in Atlanta, Ari, who was handcuffed for a number of hours after that massacre down there. The police don't know who the killer could be. And so there's someone there they don't know. They secure them. They're trying to keep everybody safe. They're trying to sort out the mess. But yes, this area here, this outer perimeter here is secure as far as the on-scene commanders know. That's why they're letting their officers operate that way. And they're operating with this guy. They probably have a pretty good feeling he's the lone actor. I mean, I think that's probably what we can surmise, that they don't believe there's a second person. But now they'll still be searching. They'll still be sweeping. They'll still be checking. But they may feel like, this is probably the one actor. If it's that man or another man, we don't know. We don't know if it's this man.
Understood. And the final question in this report, and we're going to keep an eye on this as we get readouts from authorities, but the final question is, what should people expect from here under the way they do this, Jim? If that, as you say, we have not identified who this individual is, but they look to be an individual under arrest, under some distress. There was some marking on the leg, hard to make out from this view exactly what it was, and they loaded them into the ambulance. What else will be happening in the minutes and hours ahead?
Well, as I discussed, the bomb squads, the detectives, the sweep in the area, but good professional police practice is, a good early public statement to assure the public what's going on. If they think there's one shooter, tell the public there's one shooter. They've got to notify the next of kin if there's any deceased or wounded. So if they have to set up a family center there, they need to, so people can come and talk to the officers directly about family members who could have been killed or injured. And they need to tell the public what's going on. If they have a charge on the guy, put it out early. He's charged with X. Let the public know. That's how you allay the fears. And if there's other things they need help from the public, is to get out there early, leverage the public who wants to help the police. I mean, it's the strongest thing the police had. Just like I know you were covering the Capitol riots. The FBI's putting out all those insurrectionists and putting their pictures out. Leverage the help you're going to get when a crime like this happens in the community. Everybody wants to help you. Leverage it. Get out early. Give the information. Get it damped down and keep everybody safe. That's what they got to do. If they're operating quick, if they delay the presser for too long, they lose that momentum. The public is interested. They want to help. So get out there fast.
Longtime ATF agent Jim Kavanaugh, who's been with us on many of these types of stories. Thank you for your expertise. We're monitoring the reports of the active shooter in Boulder, Colorado. We're keeping an eye on what we can learn from authorities. We have our local reporters on it. So this is what we know right now, and we will update tonight on The Beat as well as across MSNBC when we learn more about that incident. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.